All right, let's see. Test, test. All right, microphone looks good. Okay, we're in the green for this evening. Well, welcome back to another late night with yours truly. A hot day here in the States. Heat wave going on for the next few days. Maybe we can chill for this discussion. What is the I in Apple's products? What is the I in iPhone? And despite of what you may think, no, the I does not stand for idiots who want to spend $1,000 or more on an iPhone. It does not stand for idiots, although, yeah. Anyway, let's not go there. But we'll get started with that discussion here in a moment. Anyway, welcome aboard, my fellow nerds. Background music once again provided by Dad. Music from beautiful Italia. If you haven't already, check out Stanley Tucci's new series on National Geographic called Tucci in Italy. The acclaimed Italian-American actor takes us on a tour of the best foods from around the regions in Italy. I don't know how he stays so thin sampling all that food, but yeah, he gets it done. Check out Tucci in Italy. All right, let's get started. If there's anybody in the chat, I'll say hello. If not, then I'll just say good night. What is the I in iPhone or any other iProduct? No, like I said, it does not stand for idiots. I think the original iProduct had to be in the 90s, right, with the iMac computer. You know, in the early days of the web, back then called the internet. I believe that was the first product with the letter I, iMac. And I believe initially what Steve Jobs was trying to do was to expose the world to a new technology, the internet. And internet is spelled with an I. And I believe that's where the first I in those products came from. I stands for internet, such as the Internet Mac. Then, of course, we got to the iPod, iPhone, iPad, and who knows what other I's are out there. But I believe originally it meant internet. Now from there, I think as time went on, the I could stand for whatever you want it to stand for. It could stand for to inspire, to inform, to instruct. What else can you think of with the letter I? Infinite. Meaning that today's technology is potentially infinite possibilities. So infinite possibilities could be another meaning of the I in iPhone. It's kind of clever when you think about it. This is like going back some years now, 30 years almost, that some person, I guess it was Steve Jobs, that realizing the potential of the future said that the I came up with a product with the letter I in front of it. Right? And of course, many people think the I stands for me, as in the individual using the product. Why not? So many meanings: idiots, individual, instruct, inform, inspire. But I think ultimately, the I in any I product stands for internet, because we use those devices mainly for internet usage. Don't we? Of course we do. I don't really have an iPod. I have an older, outdated iPad 1 that, well, it turns on. I can stream music. I can't do much with it. It is in mint condition. Maybe one day it might be worth something, right? iPad mini. But yeah, I never got into the Apple products because I like more control over my technology. So I stuck with Android, and I never could connect my iPad or iPhone to Linux. No matter how hard I tried in this, it was impossible. So I thought, no thank you. Android it is. I mean, Android is a form of Linux, so there you go. Alright, let's see if there's anybody in the chat by chance. And it is a quiet evening in the chat. Okay. Well, let's wait a few minutes to see if anybody pops in to say hello. I never know when to do these live streams anymore. It is a changed world post-pandemic, to be quite honest. And I don't think I like it this way. Yeah. Anyway. So last week I got pulled over by a police officer, and he says, your license says here you wear glasses. I says, sir, I have contacts. He says, I don't care who you know. But boom, that is the joke of the evening. I think tomorrow night I might go to my neighbor's house because they have a nice warm jacuzzi hot tub. Oh yeah. That sounds relaxing. A hot tub and a glass of wine. Can't go wrong, right? Alright, looks like a quiet night in the chat, so if nobody feels like talking, that's okay. I don't mind talking alone, but I think I'll wrap this up for this evening. Yeah, there really hasn't been any more big news in the Linux world. I mean, it's the Wayland XOR controversy is the latest big thing now, which is, I think it's just silly. So if you are a new Linux user or a potential new Linux user, as a Windows user, all I can say is don't let this controversy discourage you to try Linux, but I would stay away from anything in Linux that forces you to use the Wayland display driver. Just don't go there. You may find it may not work the way you want to, especially with NVIDIA graphics, and I don't want your first dip in the Linux pool to be unpleasant, as it were, because Linux does have many, well, some Linux does have many benefits over Windows. So again, my advice is anything that forces you to use anything with Wayland, stay away from it for now. I don't know about next year or 20 years from now. Wayland has been in development since 2008, so do the math. And there is a saying, old software, bad software? I don't know. But yeah, that would be my advice for new Linux users. There are some terrific Linux-based systems out there. Of course, I talked about Chromebooks. You ain't got to worry about display drivers. If you want to download something, you can try Linux Mint. I think there is still a light version of Zorn that does not use any Wayland. You could try Zorn and a few others out there, but that would be my advice for new Linux users. Of course, if you have iProducts and don't use Linux but use iComputers, iMacs, then all of this won't matter, obviously. But hey, use what works. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap it up. The chat's been quiet. Maybe on next weekend. And like I said, there was a heat wave here in the States. So if you live here in the States, stay cool and enjoy the summer. It's been a long time coming for me. I might be able to go to pool this week. Gee, and here, half the summer is already over. But it is what it is. Okay, if you have any other tips about Linux, or if you have an iProduct, iPhone, or whatever, and you still love using it after all these years, tell me why. I'm kind of curious. I tried an iPhone once. I could not connect it to my Linux desktop. That's why I don't have it anymore. I don't use iProducts anymore, and I tried to connect it. It just could not make it work. Maybe that problem has been solved, but to me it just wasn't worth it. Alright, that's all I have for this one, guys. Sorry I missed it. Maybe I'll catch you on the next one. Have a safe night, a good week. And let me know when it's a good night to do these shows. I really don't know anymore. I really don't. So, be safe. Arrivederci.